Hey, what's going on YouTube? Today we're talking the Warpet system and how to fix it. Okay, Warpets have been in the game for better than 2 years now, and the basic issue that Warpets have is that since they were introduced, there have been literally zero new additions to the pet, the pet card, the pet skill library, other than the unique skills that every pet gets, right? And that are bound to that particular pet. So, for example, when Firefox came out, right, obviously it has its talent skill, and then you could buy Intense Firefox from the pet shop skill for it. And if you want to spend Amber on it, you can get Advanced Firefox. But other than that, every single skill card you can get for Firefox is exactly the same that every skill card you can get for everything. Now, obviously, the Firefox is a magic pet. So you're going to focus on the magic cards, or at least the universal cards. But there have been no new additions. All right, so that's problem one. Is zero new additions since war pets have been introduced. Obviously, other than the unique skills for each war pet. Okay, problem number two is the math problem. At best, you have 8 skill slots. Okay, no kidding. Every pet has 3 basic skills, other than the Thunder Lizard, but those suck. Don't build them anyway. And then, in addition to their 3 basic skills, every pet class basically has an additional damage source package that they can add, right? So magic pets get follow-up, and then infantry pets get the counter-strike package, where there we go. Cav pets have the fierce attack package, and finally archer pets get the chain strike package. Now, follow-up is hard limited to magic pets. The other 3, they technically can be used on other pets, and you will see that from time to time. Sometimes you'll see an infantry pet with fierce attack in lieu of or in addition to counter-strike. And then sometimes you see the same things on archer pets, where you'll see both chain strike and fierce attack on it, okay? But other than that, you basically, for the most part, you have this 3-card package designed for your specific class. For example, follow-up, and advanced follow-up, and intense follow-up if you choose to get that for magic pets. So you have the base 3 cards that are unique to every pet. You have the package that's 3 cards. And then you have 4 generic pet damage enhancers that every war pet can use. For physical pets, you know them very well. You have Fatal Bite, which increases your crit damage, and then you need either Angry Roar or Blood Roar or both to enable that, because these are your crit enablers. And on top of that, you have your generic damage enhancer, Tooth and Claw, which just increases your damage generically. And for magic pets, you basically have the same thing, although it's a little bit in reverse. You have Magic Fortune, which is your single crit enabler, and then you have Elemental Harmony and Magic Spirits, which are your crit damage boosters. And then you have Resonance, which is sort of the equivalent of Tooth and Claw, just your generic damage enhancer. Okay, now those 4 cards basically work with every, these 4 work with every magic pet, and the physical ones work with every physical pet. And so those are basically the build choices you have, right? You have 3 skill cards unique to the pet. You have the 4 generic damage enhancers, and then you have 3-card, you have the 3-card extra damage package that goes with your, what type of class of unit you're using. And the only real question is, if you have 8 slots, which 8 of the 10 are you using? And the thing on top of that is, a few of these things aren't that great, right? I'm not a, the Fierce Attack package is fine. There's some issues with it. I'll talk about that in another video sometime. But I'm not a big fan of Advanced Fierce Attack, because this only affects the Fierce Attack damage, so why would I waste a card on, on my weaker damage source? You really see this on the Counter-Strike package, right? So, for example, Counter-Strike is great, Advanced Counter-Strike is really good, and then Intense Counter-Strike is off-plan. It makes you take less damage from enemy war pets, which, is fine, but if you're putting all these other damage enhancers for your pet on the war pet, why would you waste a skill slot for Intense Counter-Strike? Now, you've heard me talk many times about hero enhancement builds or budget builds or whatever, and these are all these other skill cards on here, okay? And these can be fine. The issue with all these other skill cards is, one, they're the same skill cards we've had since the beginning, and 2, they underperform every time, okay? Now, you'll see the reason you choose them is they're much, much cheaper. So, for example, if you're building an infantry pet, you might consider Blood for Blood, Hit Back, and Swift Revenge, which are sort of your infantry counterattack package boosters, okay? And they are much cheaper. You can see at the 2-star level, they're all 900 coins or so. Whereas the physical pet damage enhancers, right, 28,000, 28,000, 27,000, much more expensive. But the problem is that's bad game design, because your only choice you have now is basically how much do you want to spend on this. It's not individual players making individual decisions based on what they think will be most effective or how they're trying to build out for a specific, thing they're trying to perform. They're just deciding how much they want to spend, okay? Good game design puts players in real dilemmas where they have to make choices in which certain choices are good in certain circumstances and less good in other circumstances. Okay, how would this work? I'm just going to give you an easy example here, right? Maybe in addition to these crit enablers as well as the tooth and claw, for physical pets, we have some skills that do splash damage, okay? And they're less good against single target, but they're more good if you're in an AoE situation. And so you got to ask yourself, do I want to do more splash damage with my cav pet, or do I want to do more single targets with my cav pet? And then you choose the skill cards that go with it. Okay, let me give you another easy one. We'll talk about magic pets, for example, okay? What if we had a set of cards that, in addition to like all these base enhancers, made you do more damage against a specific enemy hero class, right? For example, you could have magic cards that do extra damage against infantry, okay? And so if you're using your mages to target infantry, maybe you build out a pet that has all the anti-infantry cards on it, and you do a lot of extra damage against infantry, but when you find yourself fighting other like marches, it does a lot less damage, and so it's good in some circumstances, bad in other circumstances. All right, and it's like that mechanic's already in the game, right? Yeah, if you look at the magic tree here, if you go up here, you can see something on here called infantry counterattacks, which makes you do more damage to infantry units, right? And there's similar things in the infantry tree and the cav tree and the archer tree that make you do more damage to the unit you're targeting, right? So that mechanic's already in the game. It should be fairly easy to program, and would give us better variety of these pets, right? Excuse me, I'm building out this new magic fox for the two G5 magic heroes. I think these guys are really good against infantry. I intend to spend most of my time targeting infantry, talk to your guild leader whether that's something that he or she wants you to do. But if you're building out the pet for that, you choose all the infantry skill cards, and you drop some others out, and so your war pet would be really geared to damage enemy infantry. People have also talked about some way to build in like some sort of gathering skill cards. Maybe you have a war pet specifically designed for gathering heroes. That's fine. I have nothing against that. That should be easy to do, and I'd welcome it. But it wouldn't really solve the fundamental problem here. And what's the fundamental problem again? The fundamental problem is this has all gotten very stagnant. Right, and just the greatest illustration of the issue right now, the G5 mages just came out, right? And we got the new war pet for them. So we're going to see the G6 heroes come out pretty soon. We'll get the new archer heroes, the new archer war pet. And without ever having seen the archer heroes, without ever seen the archer war pet, I can tell you with virtual certainty what 10 skills you're looking at. And it's just going to be just choosing which 8 of those 10 skills you really wanted that war pet, all right? And honestly, that's a real shame. War pets have such great customization options. The problem really is we just don't have enough ways to customize them. We need new ways to customize these war pets that are dilemmas that in certain circumstances outperform the generic build, and in other circumstances don't perform as well. Give the players real choices, give them dilemmas, make the game more interesting. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. And until next time, you stay classy, Belleron.